John, when you get to sit down, don't sort of position yourself near the chair, then look round and back off. I mean, nobody's going to take it away. It's not that sort of play. Okay?
Dad, I don't want you to come for me. No. Yeah, look, we've heard all about it. The police have been round. I know. Look, if it's necessary, I'll get Mr. Barlow to bring me home, all right? Hold on. Mr. Barlow.
Yep.
My dad's on. He's worried about this escaped prisoner. I told him if it was absolutely necessary, you'd run me home. It's all right, isn't it?
Well, you...
Yes, Dad, that's okay. Well, so stop worrying and get back to the telly. Yeah, look, Mr. Barlow will bring me home, all right? I don't know. Look, we're only halfway through the first act. Yeah, as soon as I can. Bye.
Now, why do you want to tell him that? You live on Phil's side of town. It's miles out of my way.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you know what Dad is. I thought perhaps you wouldn't mind.
Well, not that I mind exactly, but I've got a wife to get back to.
Oh, she'll not miss you for one night, surely.
Well, I suppose not. All right, come on then, everybody. Positions from the beginning, please.
What do you want?
Nothing much. Just sit still.
No more Christian soldiers.
I beg pardon.
I said no more Christian soldiers. No more playing on your harmonium. Not with Mrs. Spicer living so near. I'm told that woman doesn't like noise. But then there are so many things she doesn't like.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. She's fond enough of your husband.
Yes, that was quite an amusing little interlude, wasn't it? I was referring to her more as a neighbour of yours.
Well, I'm sure that's very kind of you. When it comes to thinking about my neighbours, leave it to me. There's not else much left in life.
I was only trying to be helpful and sympathetic, to strike a friendly note of warning, as it were.
Oh, yeah, I'm overwhelmed. Now are you handing out milk stout?
Ignore them, and you're accused of being unfeeling.
You what?
Take an interest in their little troubles, and every insult in the book is hurled at you, well, isn't it?
I don't know, love.
No, you wouldn't, would you?
And will you stop going on about it? No one's going to pinch the shop just because they're in here.
But there's this man, love. The one the police are on about.
Oh, for Pete's sake, he could be anywhere.
But they
And if he
did
does
say-
want to come down this street looking for a bit of comfort, well, there's far more attractive places than our shop.
Have you got a back door?
No.
Just the one at the front.
Yes.
Where's your husband?
He's out. He'll be back soon.
They all say that.
Sing us another one, do.
There was a young woman called Mabel, who stood on her head on the table. The size of her hips was on everyone's lips, 'cause they all had a view of the label.
Cute little song. Sing us another one, do.
Gentlemen, please, this is a respectable house.
Well, you could have fooled me.
Jack, I wish you'd keep an eye on them. I don't know where they come from, but I wish they'd go back.
Aye, they're only enjoying themselves, love.
Well, can't men enjoy themselves without being obscene?
Well, let's say it's a bit difficult, eh?
You don't mind if I bring my own food in, do you?
Well, the smell does hang right.
It won't overcome the smell of beer, love.
No, that's true.
I'm talking about beer.
A pint.
One pint.
Mrs. Tanner not back yet?
Now she must have got held up. She was walking into the chip shop as I walked out.
Didn't you wait to escort her home?
Go on.
Well, there's a dangerous man at large.
Aren't we all?
Evening, Jack. Never mind evening, give us a chip.
He's miles away, love. I've just been talking to the inspector. Riley used to live with a woman down the end of Victoria Street. According to the police, he's holed up there.
Well, why don't they go in and get him then?
It's because they don't know where she lives, actually. Still, they're putting the pressure on his so-called mates. They'll soon get him.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that.
I told you there was no to worry about.
There speaks my better half, Mrs. Clegg, when every other husband in the neighbourhood is folding his protective arms about his dear wife.
Therefore, I I would see first some sights to tell my neighbours of. To tell my neighbours of. Therefore would I see first some sights to tell my neighbours of. Nay. Nay.
Nay, nay. All right, settle down. The show's only a week off. If you've got any spare energy, devote it to learning your words. Now, Pam, we'll go from your speech. Have you got it now?
Yeah.
All right.
Therefore I would see some present sights to tell my neighbours of. But first I will go abroad. That's once. I'm the cause of this desire too.
But now I think, Aunt, who was the cause of Horner's coming to my lodgings today? That was you.
No, you, because you would not let him see your handsome wife out of your lodging. Why, oh Lord, did he come hither to see me, indeed?
What's upstairs?
Bedrooms and a bathroom.
Coloured suite, is it?
Yes.
Is there anybody up there, any kids?
No.
You look the sort you'd have kids.
No, I haven't.
Not be married long?
No, not long.
Thank you.
Hello, Mrs. Turner.
Hello, love. I brought you a few chips. Well, that's not strictly true. The way things are, I didn't want to go home to an empty house all by myself, so I thought if I brought an extra sixpence of chips, somebody'd ask me in.
Oh, don't be silly. Sit down. Get some plates, look, and put the kettle on. What's it like out?
Oh, a bit spooky. No, I haven't felt like this ever since I saw that film Psycho. You know, I in that picture, I used to sing myself upstairs to bed every night.
Oh, they haven't caught the man yet, then?
No.
Hang on, there's a lot more than sixpence here, isn't there?
Well, who's counting? Hey, do you know, while I was in a trip here, a copper came in and he told us all to go straight home and not to linger. And all the time he was saying it was giving me ever such funny looks.
Why was that, Mrs. Tuck?
Well, we'll skip that for now, shall we? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, say. Perhaps he wasn't thinking what I thought he was thinking, eh? Anyway, I didn't linger.
I bet you didn't.
Talk about imagination all the way home. Every lamppost was a tall, thin fella, and every pillar box was a great big fat one. You know, fellas, it's always the same. There's never any there when you want them, and when you don't want them, they're all over the shop.
Typical.
What's it, you?
Anyway, you would have laughed. On the way home down Duck Street, I suddenly hear footsteps behind me, coming very slowly. I got very scared and I thought, right, Elsie, this is it. Get ready to defend yourself to the death. I mean, you've had a good innings, but this is no way to go. So I nipped under the archway, handbag at the ready. The footsteps come closer and closer. And just as he gets level with me, he turned and you'll never guess what.
Who was it?
Handsome Henry. The vicar at St. Mary.
Get away.
Well, how'd you get out of that one?
Well, what could you do? I just stood there like that. And I said, oh, good evening, vicar. I said, good evening, madam. Heaven knows what he thought.
That was the same as a copper.
I thought you hadn't caught on to that one. Hey, look, split them chips between you. I've suddenly lost my appetite, and I fancy something a bit stronger to drink, and also leave me out of the tea steaks if you don't mind.
Not if you don't.
I would ask you to join me in a drink at the Rovers, but you can't come, can you?
No, not really. But if anyone wants to come back, we won't be in bed. We could have a cocoa party.
Oh, I've heard about your cocoa parties. Still, I'll pass the word along.
Oh, well, I brought you down the Rovers just in
Aren't
case.
you nice, eh? Come on.
Now, don't open the door to anybody. I'll use my key.
I thought you said you had no kids.
I haven't.
Oh, what's them, then?
They're my niece and nephew. They're twins.
Are you sure they're not yours?
Yeah, well, I can always knock on your wall, can't I? That's one good thing about terraced houses. People can hear you changing your mind, but they can hear if there's any trouble, too. Oh, yeah, we often use... yeah, you can, can't you? Hey, you know, we ought to work out a system. Why not? 2 knocks means there's a burglar in the shop. He's tall, dark and handsome, and I'll send him in a couple of hours.
Yeah, and 2 knocks back means you can keep him. I've got one of my own. Oh, me, one of my own, bless him.
Still, it's not a bad idea, is it?
It's a very good one.
Hello, darling. Where have you been?
There and back to see how far it is till it was nice of you to wait for me.
My pleasure, love. Gin and tonic?
Yeah, to start with, anyway. Good evening, ladies.
Evening.
Hey, you're on the other side of me. We got something great worked out, me and Maggie. If I knock twice on your lobby wall, it means I've got a fella in. And if you knock twice back, it means keep him, I've got one of my own.
You what?
If I knock twice on
Yes, love, I got all that point. But what's the point? Standing in the lobby all night, knocking on the wall if you've got a fella in?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't mean just any fella. I mean a criminal like, you know, a burglar.
All right, well, it's 2 knocks for...
Yeah, that's right.
And 3 knocks means bring your knitting over. I've got 2 here.
Oh, hey, that's a good one. We ought to put them down. What could we have for 4 knocks?
Where's Stan?
Oh, he's in bed. You know, it's a funny thing about my Stan. He never could just taper off, like. With him, there's nothing in between absolute virility and snoring his head off. Laughing and singing 1 minute and out like a light the next. Proper rumman he is. What have you thought of them? Pardon? For 4 knocks.
Oh, well, I wasn't.
Oh, hey up.
Evening, Bill.
Evening. Evening, Mr. Walker. Same business, is it?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. He's still on the loose.
Oh, dear.
And it looks very much as if he's in this immediate area. Hey, Bill. Any luck in Victoria Street?
No, we got the address all right. He hadn't been there, at least that's what the woman said. He certainly wasn't there when we arrived. I've just been telling Mr. and Mrs. Walker we've had 4 unrelated reports about him in the last hour. That puts him between Bessie Street, Rosamond Street and Victoria Street, and all on this side of the railway.
So that puts us in the firing line.
Well, let's say we keep both eyes open, eh? And watch the ladies. He's funny like that.
Are you cold? You're scared of me, aren't you? Does your husband drink beer?
Yes,
Have you got any in the house?
yes.
Well, get it.
Come on, let's have it enough.
Hey, come on, lads.
Well, I don't suppose you'll be getting more customers in, Mr. Walker, but if you do hear anything...
I'll be on the phone before you can say Jack Robinson.
Good. Well, good night, all.
Night.
Yeah, Bill.
Gordon, that was Lucille on the phone. She's staying overnight with her friends, so there's no need for you to go.
Oh, good. Well, that's one problem less. Do you have another, ma'am?
I don't mind.
Well, the fair weather friends have deserted me. Any gentlemen see me home?
Stay and have another one, love. I think you're safer here.
Oh, I'll be all right in my own
Right,
house.
you know.
I'll be all right in my own house.
Hey, you want to have a signal system like me and Elsie and Mrs. Clegg?
I've got one. Me and Valley Bar have had one for weeks. We knock on the water pipes.
Oh, hey, isn't that a coincidence? What have you got for 4 knocks?
We never got round to playing silly beggars. We just knock.
Have one yourself. You might need it. What are you doing?
It's water. We've got to...
Have you ever been inside?
Inside?
You know what I'm talking about. You're gonna bang, bang. You hadn't turned it on proper.
Mommy? Mommy?
No kids, eh?
Oh, please, God. Please, God.
Oh, hang on, Mother. Keep it on the board. You'll have us banned.
Ah, leave her alone. She's doing very well.
Oh, you're joking.
Yes, one does, but then...
Well, pick a dartboard for a start.
I don't care.
Well, that was very enjoyable. I'm glad I stayed.
Have another, Mrs. Sharples.
Very, very generous all of a sudden tonight, aren't we? Who's been round? Godfrey wins.
Oh, doesn't she accept things graciously?
I'm not accepting love, thanks all the same. Good night, all.
It must be nice to be able to speak the truth just like that.
It's better than play acting, love.
Anybody got spare 6pence?
Yeah, I have.
Good, thanks. There you are.
Oh, that's all right. You can pay me back somehow.
I am paying you back somehow. 2 threepenny bits.
Leave it. What was that?
It'll be the old lady from downstairs coming in. Could I get myself a drink of water, please?
Okay, bring me some more bread. And don't try anything. Not now I know about the kids. Don't do that again.
You're in the doghouse.
Yeah.
She's got her boyfriend in.
Why didn't you tell me about the kids? You are scared of me, aren't you? What's your name? What's your name?
Barlow.
No, I meant your first name.
Valerie.
You what? I can't hear you!
Valerie!
Valerie. Valerie, that's a nice name. It's a very nice name, Valerie. No, Valerie. You know who I am?
No.
What's my name, then? What's my name?
Riley.
How did you know? Was it on the wireless? What did they say about me? Did they say what I did? Oh, they did, didn't they? You just don't like saying it, do you? Who's that, then? Who is it?
Oh, it's the old lady from downstairs.
From downstairs? What does she want?
She follows me.
Gone borrowing somewhere else. Shall I tell you what I want, shall I? I want money. You thought I was going to say something else. You did, didn't you? Go on, you did. You did, you know. You never heard of priorities, have you? Like a little fella from Prisoner's Aid once said, always get your priorities right. That's what comes first, and so on, you know. Well, that's what I'm doing. First money, then a new set of clothes from what your husband's got, and then... Well, I've got to get them first, haven't I? While you can still give them to me.
Look, I asked if the Barlows are at home.
I don't know. Well, Ken's out for a start. He's gone to his amateur dramatics.
Oh, what about Valerie?
Oh, she wouldn't leave the children, would she? Well, she's been asking me to babysit fella lately, but there was no approach made for tonight. She knows I'm always ready to help.
What's up, Mrs. Sharples? Well, for once in my life, I hope you'll all laugh at me. I'd no sooner got in our house than I thought I heard knocking on the pipes.
From upstairs?
Yes. I thought I was imagining things, and then about a couple of minutes later, their phone bells started to ring.
Well?
I can hear it fairly well in my place, you know. Well, nobody answered it. And it went on ringing and ringing, so I got my coat and I walked upstairs and I knocked twice on the door, and nobody answered that.
No sign of life anywhere?
Well, there was a light on somewhere. It was showing under the door. Oh, look, I'm an old woman.
Mrs. Sharples, did you hear a knocking on the pipes?
Yes, I did.
And that was a prearranged signal between you and Valerie?
Yes.
Right. Jack?
Yes, love?
Go and phone the police.
Yes, love.
And you'd better ring Ken.
Ken? Well, what shall I tell him?
Tell him Valerie wants him home right away.
Do you look like your husband in this? You don't talk much, do you? I asked you a question. Do I look like your husband?
Yes.
Say you look like my husband.
You look like my...
Say I wish you was my husband.
I wish it was my husband.
Now get me the money. That's the priorities, isn't it? Come on, you've got more than that. Come on. Is your clock right? Well, give it another 10 minutes. In a quarter of an hour, they'll all be letting out of the pubs. Good time to go then. Plenty of people on the streets. You see what I mean about priorities? Always take good advice. Doesn't matter who you are, always take good advice. I've got my money, my gear. I can think about other things now.
Takes them long enough.
Look, would anyone like another drink? This is no time to be thinking about licensing.
Yeah, I think we could all do with one, couldn't we? I forget what it was.
I think I can remember, Len.
Dear God, I hope I'm wrong.
We all do, Mrs. Sharples.
Is there anything we can do?
Just let's wait for police, love.
From what I hear, he's not a big fella, but the thought of him frightens us all to death.
It's not just him, love. It's the difference between him and us.
Now, it might be a good idea if one or two of you go on home. I want everything to appear as normal as possible. Now, you ladies will be quite safe. I've got one or two men watching out for you. You won't see them, but they'll see you. Just don't go home to an empty house, that's all. Now, Mrs. Sharples, what are you going to do?
Well, I might as well get off home. There's not for me to do it. I can't stand to see Ken's face when he comes in.
Yeah, I know.
What are you going to do, help the police?
Nah, they wouldn't thank me for it. They don't want heroes like me on a job like this.
The youngsters at number 3 have asked me to go around. If anybody's looking for me, you know where to find me. And if anybody wants to join me...
Excuse me, madam.
Yeah?
If you are walking down the street, you might find a temptation to look up at the Barlow's window. I don't know how temptation hits you, but resist that one, if you will.
Okay.
Now, Mrs. Sharples, let's just see if we've got everything straight. You heard, or thought you heard, a banging on the pipes from the flat upstairs.
Yes.
Now, that's a signal that there's something wrong.
That's right, yes.
Then you heard the telephone ringing in the Barlow's flat, and nobody answered it. Then you knocked on the door, and nobody answered that.
No.
But there was a light shining somewhere inside.
Yes, somewhere inside, definitely.
And the husband's not at home.
No.
And Riley's been reported in this immediate neighborhood.
What do you think?
Well, there are too many coincidences there for me. Where is the husband?
I phoned him. He's on his way home.
He's what?
Well, I told him to call here first.
Well, let's hope he does what he's told. Conway, you better tell Stevens to get the men in position. Now, wait a minute. They move quietly and they move in the shadow. And once they're in position, nobody moves until I give the word, okay? Where's the plan of the play? Oh. Right, on your way. Now, will you just check this for me, Mr. Fairclough?
Yeah.
Now, that's Mrs. Sharples.
That's right.
Who lives in this one?
That's Mrs. Spicer.
Are they at home?
Yes, she is.
And this one?
That's the Barlows.
Ah.
If I just walk out and leave you, what'll you do?
Nothing.
You won't get on the telephone to the police.
No.
No, I can fix that anyway. You won't run out and get help. Tell people.
No.
Because if I thought you'd do that, I'd have to fix you on the kids. You know that, don't you? You won't do any of them things then.
No, I promise. I promise.
If you did, I'd come back. You shouldn't have done that.
Sir, I think he spotted us, sir. How? Well, it was hard luck a milk bottle went over. And then I heard a noise inside the flat as if he was chucking things about. Well, get over there and tell him no more movement. We've got to work this one out. There's a woman and 2 kids in there. Yes, sir. Oh, Mr. Barlow?
Yes?
I think it might be better if we talk inside.